I was watching the Liv Morgan and Stephanie McMahon interview last week that they had. Excellent interview. Didn't think I could love Liv anymore, but she got into some personal stuff and just where she's at mentally. Awesome stuff. But probably the most surprising thing out of that entire interview was when they got to talking about Liv Morgan and her arrest. And Stephanie had no idea what she was talking about. Stephanie had no idea she was arrested. Stephanie had no idea she got in trouble and what she got in trouble for. Rhodesia, my question to you is, after seeing that, what else does Stephanie McMahon not know?
I do know that she remember when Natalia kept calling her and wanted to profess her love for her years ago. What she doesn't know that her mom is the Secretary of Education and that her dad sucks.
Well, I think she knows her dad has some issues. Remember, she came back as like the president.
She said it's complicated
or whatever she was. Yeah, so I think she knows
exactly.
that.
She left and came back.
Yeah, I think she knows that. I don't know if she knows that like her husband's like head of creative. Like, I mean, if you don't know Liv,
sure,
was arrested.
Yeah.
And probably when it happened, she may not have had like a actual position with the company, right? So no harm, no foul. But you would think somehow, some way that would have come across her desk or her phone. Like
or
TMZ reported it, like everybody reported it. So for her to say that, it's like, hey, do you know that? Do you know anything? I just don't know now what she doesn't know. That could be like an awesome segment for her show. We have a new segment on our show too. That, you know, last week you came out and said what your New Year's resolution was going to be. We'll get to that. But we have a new segment that's going to be a weekly segment. And I cannot wait for this segment. And I can't wait for you to try to talk your way out of some of these things that you have for these segments. But I digress. But I do think that anybody who comes on to the show, I think they should ask her on her podcast, like, so what else don't you know? I think it would just be cool to hear 52 times a year what she doesn't know. I think we'd be kind of surprised maybe.
You know how we talk about cursing and using profanity in the first 7 minutes of a YouTube, and sometimes like it messes up the algorithm because like we're a dirty show? You throwing shade at me in the first 7 minutes, in the first 2.5 minutes of the show? Is that how this show gonna go? Is that how my segment gonna end up being just more of you throwing shade at me? Is that what you're doing? Just let me know.
Absolutely. Okay. It's your segment, but it's really our segment. You know what I mean? It's really our segment. I'm excited for that.
At my expense. I got it. Okay.
Hey, but Steph, there's a lot going on in just wrestling in your company. Just do a couple quick Googles. You know what I'm saying? And kind of go from there. So
I do wonder though, like we see that a lot. We see that with just WWE creative in the past, and they'll say, oh yeah, I heard a little bit about this person. And you're like, wait, how did you hear just a little bit about this person? I just guess the day-to-day is so damn busy that it just doesn't come into their ecosphere of their world.
Yeah, that one was crazy. And I believe her. I do believe her.
Yeah.
But it's like, yo, how did you not know that? Even though it was just for, you know what I'm saying, weed possession and whatever they got thrown out. Like, it wasn't like she wasn't a murderer or it wasn't a felony. Well, I guess it was supposed to be a felony because you can't have synthetic marijuana in Florida, but you know, they got it, you know, thrown out or whatnot. But that was just, I was like, yo, that's pretty crazy.
Yeah. And then just watching her talking about her being Liv, like almost kind of shameful. Like, do you look less of me now that you know that about me? Just, we still always, like, to our people that we look up to, we kind of always just cower down, and it's cute because it's like an innocence to it. But sometimes it's like, it, as you used the word before, it's jarring sometimes. Like, who is she? Who is she to look at you a different kind of way? But it's natural, right? I guess it's human nature. People that we admire, if they look at us any less than what we think that we should be looked at, it kind of hits us on our self-esteem level.
Hey, we know Stephanie got some things she did in the past. Even her response was like, she wanted to say, girl, do you know the shit I did? That was what she wanted to say. But she kept it cute.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? She did keep it cute. Hey, let's get the show going, man. We got to keep this show cute. Episode 231 of the TFW podcast. That's Freaking Wrestling, the best kept secret in wrestling podcast today. Podcast that tells you exactly how it is. I'm your favorite wrestler, talker in these streets, Matt, joined by that lady, Rhodesia, on the camera right there. Shout out to the freaks, supporters of the podcast. Y'all know I'm going to keep saying it. If you like what we're doing, hit those buttons. You guys know what buttons those are, right? So on the surface, it wasn't like a lot to talk about this week, but we're going to get to it. So let's talk some freaking wrestling. And we got to start with the biggest news coming out of Friday Night SmackDown this past Friday.
Mm-hmm.
They finally pulled the trigger. Drew McIntyre is the new WWE champion. Had a lot of shenanigans with it. 3 stages of hell, returning Jacob Fatu, which I absolutely thought was fantastic that Drew won in spite of Jacob's interference. Yep. Goes back to what I was talking about last week with like the old tropes. And that's not really an old trope per se, but he shows up and we know what that looks like, right? We still think Drew was the one that attacked Jacob to have him go out for all those months backstage. And then it's like, oh man, Cody's going to win. Drew still won. And then Cody and Jacob start going at it.
And that's what I love about that. Like when you see Jacob, and that was like where I said when he first won the championship that I was like, his aura, his mystique is gonna change a little bit, and it kind of did for me. But just that raw of Jacob, the rawness, like the whole Cody, like, dude, what you just do? And then Jacob saying, hold up, bro, don't touch me like that. And like them getting in between it. Like that's like natural, raw aggression from Jacob. And that's what I really love and I missed from him. Not saying that I mean and all that kind of stuff ain't giving me that aggression, but just that interaction even between him and Cody, that was worth the price of admission for me. Getting a return of Jacob Fatu and that interaction between him and Cody. Bravo to those two guys.
Mm-hmm. It was cool too because you see where they got him slotted at. Right, to interfere in the main event of that show with Drew, with Cody, kind of shows you where he's pegged at. He's been there for me, so it was great to see him back, having that energy. But they pulled the trigger. They pulled the trigger on Drew McIntyre. What's your thoughts on, I guess you could talk about the match. I thought the match saved SmackDown. I didn't think SmackDown was really that good. An F, or as you would say, a D is in
D, dog, like boo-boo, dogs, boo-boo, dog shit.
For the crowd, because that was probably the worst international crowd they've had in a long time. So they did not hold up their end of the bargain of being hot and all that kind of stuff. So I thought the show was kind of just there. It was a couple things on the show that was good. I thought the show started strong with Randy and Trick. I thought it was 2 for 2 for Trick on the main roster. That was good. And then it was kind of just a lot that was just there, a lot that was just there, a lot that was just there. And then we get the 3 stages of hell, which I thought was a great match, actually. And then we get the finish. And I'm like, okay, so they pulled it. There's been a lot of conversations coming out after surrounding the direction now for Cody Rhodes, Drew McIntyre, Roman Reigns. We'll get to that, after we kind of put a bow on just the match and Drew being champion. But I think probably the biggest conversation for me was this was absolutely needed.
Yeah.
Absolutely needed. We talked last week and I said that if you weren't going to put the belt on Drew, I would love for them to do the Oba Femi route. Start with Oba on SmackDown with Drew. Drew was the one that cost Oba the match with Cody at Saturday Night's main event. But SmackDown's been stagnant at the top of the card. It has. And just what a horrible, and I'll use the word horrible, second title reign for Cody Rhodes. And it's not due to Cody. It is the positions they had him at. It was where he was pegged because he did the absolute best with what he had every week, in my opinion. Cut maybe the best promo of his career. I think one of them anyway, in that promo leading up to War Games, where he talked about every single heel that was against him. Check this out. So I pulled this up because when I saw a message on social media, and I think he had been champ for 138 days, 136 days or whatnot. And I'm like, I don't remember anything memorable from his title reign that had to do with the title, right? Once again, not against him, it had to do with the title. So I looked. He beat Cena, of course, SummerSlam, August 3rd.
Mm-hmm.
He then had a title defense against Drew McIntyre, which I believe was the first show on ESPN, pay-per-view.
That whole bomb failure. Go ahead.
Then there was a rematch with Drew. Drew won by DQ in 4 minutes. Then it was Saturday night's main event.
Which Drew one? McIntyre? Been a gazillion.
No, that can't be Saturday night's main event. Let me see. Let me open this up. Here we go. All right. No, Saturday night's main event. Cody Rhodes defeats Drew McIntyre. That was the one from November 1st.
Mm-hmm.
Cody Rhodes defeats Bronson Reed by DQ in 5 minutes. That was on a SmackDown show. And then 3 Stages of Hell. Good God. That was his entire title reign from a match perspective. And this just goes back to like the bigger issue SmackDown had with Cody. And I wanted to start with Drew, so you can take the conversation wherever you want to take it. But this is why so many fans, I think, now granted, a lot of us were asking for Cody Rhodes' heel turn a year ago, right? Mm-hmm. But I think even more than now, this is a very important piece in time for Cody Rhodes in the character. Cody's always going to be him. He's always going to be fine. He's got the stranglehold on, the top guy that is making the towns, interviews, that part of it. From an entertainment perspective, though, what is next for him is very important. There's a lot of people who felt like Cody was a better chaser. I'm not going to say that because I thought his first year as champion was pretty good, if not great. Because remember, a lot of people were saying leading up to WrestleMania 40 wasn't the best for his storylines. We had the Brock Lesnar of it all that went for months, and people were like, man, it feels like he's in a holding pattern where he was to get to WrestleMania 40.
Mm-hmm.
But now it's like, okay, where do you go with Cody Rhodes in terms of what makes the most sense for his character? This is the perfect time. They're not going to do it. But not knowing what they have planned, this will be the perfect time to say, okay, yeah, this is time to layer up his character. And not saying he should turn heel now, but maybe start showing some different shades and different flavors a little bit because of everything that happened to him. 2 weeks ago, every babyface seemed like on the SmackDown roster was telling him they're coming after his title. Even this past week, Matt Cardona, who, of course, they're great fans in real life, basically says, look, I came back to win that championship, so I'm coming after you if, when you get through Drew today. He didn't get through Drew. But every single babyface, Randy Orton, Sami Zayn, was coming after Cody Rhodes. There's a story there that you can start telling, especially for me when I thought it was going to be Roman and Cody 3 at WrestleMania. You let Dave Meltzer tell it. They scrapped it. They scrapped that match at WrestleMania. That is no longer going to be the Mania match. And that was changed due to the change of putting the title on Drew. Allegedly, the word is they decided midweek last week Drew McIntyre was going to be put over on SmackDown, okay. And then they decided to change the matches for WrestleMania, not knowing what matches are what, which is great because I'm all about not knowing what's what. But I do think they're in a spot where, hey, what is next for Cody? Word comes out again that this is now the second time Cody and Drew pitched for Drew to win the title. They both pitched it collectively, backstage word, at the ESPN show, the first one, to put the belt on Drew. And then they pitched it again. Now, is that more of Cody not wanting to do him and Roman again right now at Mania, and this is maybe the way to pivot from it? Who knows, right? I'm not going to go down that piece, but there had to be a reason why they felt like this was the time. I felt like this was the time because if not now, when? For Drew McIntyre. He's been down this road for years, and we even said like a few weeks ago, like, man, if Drew doesn't win this one, like, he loses a ton of credibility. Like, is he ever going to win it? Do we ever see that from Drew? And then from a Cody perspective, what is this title reign? So you could argue and say like, yo, he could have lost this belt a few months ago to Drew, and they may have been on the same trajectory. But I think right now this is perfect time for Drew to be the top guy on SmackDown. I did think it was going to be transitional. It still may be transitional. We still may be getting Cody versus Roman 3 at WrestleMania. If not, Cody and Roman, Drew could still be dropping it to somebody else up to that point. We know he's going to have it through at least the Royal Rumble. I know you want to bring up the matches they're going to set up for Saturday Night's Main Event, where we find out who Drew is going to take on at the Rumble, but I'm going to assume he's going to get through that also. But they have a lot of now different things they can do with Drew being the title holder, being a heel, because they don't really have heels on SmackDown, you know. And for me, this should help elevate the top of the card with having Jacob back. And now with Cody not being involved with the title, I think that does bring some more weight to SmackDown in regards to at the top of the card. But overall, like, what did you think when you saw the match? You saw the finish. I'm going to assume you probably felt the same way about Cody's title run, but if so, tell me what.
You have hit the nail on the head on a lot of different things I want to touch on. There's a lot to unpack in what you said. And my mind was going so many different places. So I will first start off with saying congratulations, Drew McIntyre. You finally got the big one again. You've been robbed several times. But now I'm about to talk out of the side of my neck. And I feel like watching it play out. No, I'm good. My gimmick is the neck. I feel like Drew this is not talking out the side of my neck. Drew is a made man. That is a fact. He is. He's a made man. And I was like, he can't lose again. He can't lose another opportunity again. He just can't. He got to win. But in the moment, watching the match, and even before we had Jacob come back, because I was thinking it was going to be Oba. But when they were in the match, I'm like, you know what? He can lose again, and it's not going to take too much from Drew. Drew is still the man. He's going to be the man. He's a made man. But there's just no doubt that the reign of Cody this time around is just, I don't even want to see, I think you said terrible, whatever word you use. I'm just going to say it was just uneventful. It's just nothing to sink your teeth in. It's just boring, maybe, if I should say or can say. And this then leads me to another problem that I've said now for 2 years in a row now, maybe even 2.5 years. WWE main champions have had an issue with their reigns and the meaningfulness of them. And maybe not even the word meaningful, just the excitement. Maybe I should say that the excitement of their title reign. Like, as far as their character, like, once you get the big one, it almost seems like it's just blah. The chase seems like it's always been better. And I think that's kind of, there's a fact to it that when you're chasing, it's always going to be more exciting because people are rooting for you. And once you get it, it's kind of like the hustle, the grind is gone. How you got to kind of start making artificial excitement for that. I get that. But the reign has just been just dull and bland. And when you mentioned all of those matches that he did have, which wasn't many, that's the reason why. Something happened when Roman, and it probably even happened when Brock was around, and I called him when he hijacked the title. And then it went to the next level with Roman. It's something about the precedent that they set with in modern wrestling. When you hold the title like that for a long time, and you only have matches every 4 to 6 weeks, you want to make sure your champion is wanted. It's like a spectacle when it's time for them to have a match, especially when they put their title up on the line. I get that. I get that whole psychology of wrestling. I remember you told me for years Hogan would have matches every once and so often. You build that anticipation for your champion. So after what happened, like with Roman and him being gone, it seemed like everybody after that was trying to copy that same blueprint of, I am now the one of the main champions, and I'm going to still make myself exciting, even though I'm not really in action all the time. And it just makes it feel really boring. We saw it with Tiffany Stratton. She gets a championship, nothing. Like, there's no more aura in that person. At least this is for my own fandom. So that was the one thing there about Cody. We knew that we had. Go ahead.
Yeah, so stop there, because I do want to kind of talk about that a little bit. Right now that's the Triple H booking style. And you would think the opposite would happen. You would think there would be more aura because we don't see these people. And I am the person who feels like I don't want to see weekly matches just for the sake of matches with your champions. I am from the old school thought of like, set up to be a big match, and or pay to see the champion. But if you just kind of look at, and we've been talking about this being a problem for months and months and months on this show.
But it's about 2 years now.
Think about Jade Cargill. She won the championship, and I don't even know if, I think she's had one title defense, if that. She was
Stephanie,
supposed to,
I think, had just two. One or two.
She was supposed to defend it against Michin, and Michin got her at the house show, so then they didn't do that. That may have been her first title defense, I think. So she hasn't had any title defenses. Stephanie's been active. Vaquer has been active.
Yeah, but actually for title matches, I think she's only had 2 title matches. It's very minimal.
Right, but she's been active, so we've at least been seeing her wrestle. And no, I don't want to see Cody or Drew in non-title matches. I do think they need to soften that. We say that just from a content perspective. Business probably dictates that we are wrong, maybe in that. You know what I'm saying? But if you just kind of look at the way the champions are being handled, it seems like we're not getting the matches. Hell, we can go back to Rhea Ripley. Remember, I said I can't wait till she drops the title so we can see her wrestle again.
So you can see some wrestling from her. Like to the point where when she finally did have a match, I forgot when it was like, wow, it felt really refreshing to watch her wrestle again. Because you just didn't get that before, or you weren't getting that. It's just, I mean, it's almost, and it goes back to like the Jacob thing. It went back to what Stephanie was a different kind of thing. But it was like once they get that title after that chase, even more now than what it was before, that championship reign is just so boring and nothing is, like, I don't remember it. That's a problem. That's a problem.
Really what it is, right? It's not memorable.
They aren't memorable.
I mean, right now, I was watching NXT earlier today, and Ava has shouted out Ethan for being right now the longest reigning WWE champion.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought when she said that, who's had the last memorable title reign on
Probably
WWE
Chelsea.
TV?
And that's not even the main championship.
It doesn't matter. That's fine though.
So Chelsea.
You're saying
I'll go with
Green?
Chelsea. Then Walter. I call him Walter. Gunther, when he had the IC championship, is the secondary championships. Like those are the ones that stand out to me.
Well, Gunther was IC champ.
I didn't like his championship reign. I like his IC.
But Gunther
reign.
was IC champ before Cody won his first world championship. I mean, so his first world championship was memorable. Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. The last one, that you look back and you say, no, that was pretty memorable. I don't think we've had any tag champs that had a memorable run. Either one, men or women.
No.
Intercontinental champion.
No, I'm telling you, it's Chelsea, Cody,
it's slim pickings.
And Walter. I mean, Gunther. It's been those 3 in the last 4 years, and in Roman, of course. In the last 5 years, you have a gazillion championships, not as much as the competitor, but you have a gazillion championships, and you're telling me in 5 years you have 4 meaningful reigns? I'm sorry, memorable, not meaningful. Memorable. That's a problem. That's a problem they have to solve for.
Seth's reign was getting there. Remember, I didn't like some of the things they were doing with the Division, but his reign after WrestleMania was meaningful because of that one. I will give Seth that. His reign was at a point where it was becoming, memorable.
Okay,
but
so 4
that's something
that 4 or 5.
Yeah, they got to be better than that, though. Yeah.
And so the point that to kind of bring that back whole between the Cody and the Drew, we all agree that something needed to change because again, that Cody being a champion reign, it was just getting boring, and it leads to the next problem. In order to have a huge good guy, you have to have a really huge bad guy, and not a bad guy that people's going to cheer, because people still cheer Drew. You got to have a bad guy that people just don't like and want to see lose. So when you don't have that for Cody, because Cody's such a heavy hitter, Cody's such a made man as a good guy. When you don't have anybody to counter that for him, just full potential is not there. So that's another problem that they have to solve for. But Drew, I'm so happy that he's had this opportunity to now be the champion. He can get some of his flowers right now. Again, now after that match, I don't think he actually needed to win the match. If we had some interference, as long as he didn't just lose like clean in the middle of the ring, like Bron did. I'm okay with it now. But now that he has it, I'm excited. I think it's transitional as well. I would be surprised if he has it even entering WrestleMania, to be honest with you. But if he does, that'd be great for him too. But kudos to Drew for now being the new champion. Let's see what he can do with that 3-hour SmackDown.
Yeah, see, and now I don't think it is transitional, right? For me, it was, so what I had thought was going to happen, I thought Drew was going to win against Cody. I thought he would beat whoever the challenger is at the Rumble. And then I thought Drew was going to lose it in February to either Cody or Roman.
At the Chamber?
Yep. And then that's how we get Roman Cody 3 for the championship, because that match absolutely is needed for the championship. And I'm kind of surprised. There's a lot of people online. Let me take it back. I'm seeing more no to that match than yays than I would have thought. Like, I don't know why nobody wants
Roman Cody 3 or for the championship for 3?
Roman Cody 3. There were people who were like, I don't want it. Give me Roman Drew and then give me Cody, Orton, and Jacob, or Cody and Jacob. It was a lot of kind of like that, which I'm just surprised about. I don't know why people wouldn't want the biggest match possible at WrestleMania. And I think there's no way in the world there's anything bigger than Cody Roman 3. I don't know if they're just tired of it. I don't know if there's fatigue behind it, which I don't know how they would be, though, just because every single time they're in the ring together, they smoke it. And there is unresolved issues between them. Who is the guy? Like, to me, this is by far the biggest match that they have. So if you take, Dave's report, and like, I give Dave a lot of shit, right? Like, this is probably the first time I've said Dave's name on the pod and not Starman.
Uncle?
Because he got a lot right last year. I used to just be like, man, Starman bugging again, because the majority of things that he would say was wrong, but it may have been like 50-50 last year. The things he got right compared to what he got wrong in terms of scoops and such. But
you bat a better average of that.
Oh, well, I mean, let's not even talk about that. Like, whatever. Shout out to whoever
bat a better average.
Yeah, shout out to whoever is listening to the TFW podcast and they have influence over what we see on WWE TV. I'll leave it at that. If you guys listen and then you just watch,
like and subscribe to the show.
There is a lot. They may already like and subscribe. So shout out to y'all. We appreciate that. Just reach out to me and let me know that I am seen and I am heard. And I appreciate that. But
that's all we want.
But yeah, so like for me, that's what I was so looking forward to, was Roman Cody 3. And now if we pivot from that, I'm excited to see. Last year, remember, there was things in disarray leading up to Mania. Who would be involved? Who wasn't there? Things of that nature. There was none of that this year. If they have set the top matches of WrestleMania now, second week, first week of January, whatever that is, I'm going to assume this is what they think is best. This is the best lineup that they have. Then I'm going to assume whatever they have in place is going to be better than Roman Cody 3. I don't know how it can be. If they want to continue to hold off and maybe the Roman Cody 3 is what puts Cody over the top to turn heel, maybe then that's why it's not time. But this was the scheduled match. I'm sure it was. Last time we saw Roman, he basically told Cody what it was. So that's how I kind of knew what was happening with that. So then if we're not getting that, they just better have something incredible in line for Cody, for Roman, for Drew, those three, and then we'll kind of go from there.
Let me ask you a question. I know your answer already, but I feel it's important to maybe bring it up now because there's a lot of things that's still kind of uncertain. When we do get Roman Cody 3, whenever, wherever that is Cody a good guy or a bad guy?
I think it matters whenever, right? What you just said is when it matters. Because the answer right now sounds completely different than next year's WrestleMania. Or it sounds completely different than maybe even SummerSlam in August. Right? It's just because that now once again goes back to, is it time yet to pull the trigger? And this is not the thing I kind of talked about at the top of the pod. This isn't the thing of let's just turn Cody heel because Cody's not working as a babyface. I think the majority of people, if not everybody who wants to see Cody turn heel, is because we're huge Cody Rhodes fans, and we've seen Cody as a heel before, and we know, like, as good as people think he is as a babyface, it is not even close to how good he will be as a heel. And there is so much to his character that is heel induced right now if you want to pull that trigger. If you just look at, let's just take what they've showed us in the last 3 weeks on television. Okay, I said it already. Every babyface basically on SmackDown came at him and said, I'm coming after you. So the walls are closing in. He loses his title to Drew McIntyre, 3 stages of hell. The guy that broke onto his tour bus. The guy has made his life a living hell since the fall. And he's not going to get a rematch. We've already moved on.
Yeah, because he's not even one of the contenders.
He's not in the qualifying matches, which he wouldn't be, because which was great. They announced it before the match, so he can't be involved in it. So that's very smart. So shout out to WWE for that. So now he's not getting his rematch at the Royal Rumble. I don't know, maybe now he needs to get in the chamber. But point is, he doesn't get a rematch. Right? There is just so much there. And for me, if he would have worked Roman at WrestleMania, and let's say Roman goes in as champ, yo, we back at this again? Or let's say Cody goes in as champ. Say Cody beat Drew in February. And now it's Roman and Cody 3 at Mania, and Roman beats Cody. Everything I worked for the last 2 years just evaporated. I'm back at Swerve 1 again against the same guy. I said I was QB1. He said he was OTC1, and I'll be damned, he was right. That is so worthy of a change of character for him. That's why I said, if we're not getting that, cool. I'm here for it whenever we do, but man, they got to have some great plan.
Yep.
Did you want to, what are the qualifying matches? I think you said you had them in for the pod. I remember they announced them on SmackDown for Drew's next challenger. Yep.
So we have Orton and Miz. Poor Miz. But again, I say poor Miz but he's on TV and I'm saying poor Miz. So evidently he's still relevant. So, but poor Miz. Then we have Matt Cardona and Trick Willie.
So we agree that Orton's beating Miz, right?
Yeah, I just can't imagine a world where he doesn't. And Miz don't have any friends, so there's no way.
No, yeah, I mean, it's Orton. Orton's going to win that. The Cardona Trick one is interesting, though, because it feels like neither one of them should take a loss. And you can, you can have Trick cheat.
Yep.
But what's the other 2 matches?
And then we have Damian Priest and Solo, which is another interesting one.
Okay.
And then Sammy,
you have the YS6
Ilya.
Interfere.
Now that's going to be
You have the YS6 interfere and cost Solo that match. So you got Damian going over.
Sure. Okay. Got it. So Damian go over. And then the one that's going to be like, I won just by watching this match. I'm sorry, the potential. I don't want to make it higher or give them any extra pressure than they need for this. But when we get Sammy and Ilya, remember I told you Sammy and the Nakamura match was like one of my favorite matches of all times? This has that potential to me, I believe, to be one of those matches for me. So we have Sami Zayn and Ilya Dragunov, which I thought was so funny. Cool.
That's so funny. That's one of your favorite matches of all time, and you haven't gone back to watch it in forever. When you go back and watch it,
something special about it.
Yes, because you were there, and it was a special match. But when you go back and watch that match, you'll see less is more. They didn't do much in that match, and I agree with you. I mean, we talked about it. I think we even told Sammy like that was match of the weekend. Up to that point, I forgot the WrestleMania and everything like that. But when we saw him at Access, it wasn't much to that match. But that's the art of wrestling, pro wrestling, right? When you don't have to do so much to get somebody like you invested in, still talking about that match to this day as being one of your favorite matches. That was where we got the Fight Forever chant. I think for the first time, if I'm not mistaken. Actually, I know it was. I know it was on that show.
That was worthy of it then.
Yeah. Now we just cracked the code when you gave out all 4 of those matches, and I think all 4 of those matches are this Friday, right?
They're all this Friday, yep.
Okay.
All in London.
The winners are going to be everybody who went at Cody and told him, I'm going to challenge you. I'm next. Damian did.
I can see
Sammy
that.
did. Cardona did.
Matt Cardona. And
Orton did. You could flip out Cardona. Maybe. I mean, Cardona hasn't even... Do you have him really lose the second match? That's the one. That's the one that I'm kind of just like...
But again, like you said, though, Trick could completely cheat. So I could see how that could play out there. And I'm okay with your debut. Okay, as your debut match, you should win. Boom. I think, right? That's what you just have to do. But if you lose, just make sure you lose by some kind of cheating. Don't lose clean in the middle of the ring. And I think Trick could be the person he would get more out of that win than Cardona getting out of that win. Because we know neither one of them are going to be the number one contender. So I would rather Trick win that match. And then that will put him in a hell of a position in the Fatal 4-Way too, so he can also dance some more with some more veterans as well.
Because that's going to be on Saturday's main event. Right, next Saturday. The winners of those. So that's the one I'm not confident on, but the other three, is ready-made story there. But that's once again, the interesting part. Everybody who said, hey, Cody, it's going to be me and you. Cody's not even involved in it. That's interesting. Very interesting. But I'm looking forward to it.
Wasn't that so cool with the writing that they did between Carmelo and Ilya? I just have to pull that back because it was like, he's like, I told you, man, you up next. I'm about to go do this U.S. Open Challenge. All right, I'll holler at you. And then he's like, nah, I got something else I'm talking about. And you're like, whoa. And it came full circle of what that other thing was. But I just thought that was really, really cool touch there to throw that in there.
Well, it was because he explained why he was in the match.
Mm-hmm.
Just, we only need 15, 20 seconds. Everything got to be a 15-minute promo, but just explain what we're seeing. And it goes a long way.
It really does.
So just quick booking, you agree whoever wins doesn't beat Drew at the Rumble, correct? Or do you, now that things have switched?
I don't know. So going back to looking at these matches, the people who's actually in it, the only one that I would want to be to win, then if that was the case to derobe Drew, would be an Orton. I don't even know a story there that would be there for it. So I would probably say just based derobe, like derobe. You can derobe him of his belt. Derobe. No, dethrone is to take you off your throne. Derobe is like to take off your clothing, to take off your belt.
Yeah.
So derobe.
So you want him to be naked now? We're working the Rumble. Is that what you're saying?
No, I would cash in that 401k. No joke, no, I wouldn't.
Jesus Christ. God bless.
We get a naked Drew. Hell yeah. Okay, that went a different way. The freaks will like it. But I don't see any of these people here out of these 8 men that would derobe him for the belt. So I would say I'm okay with Drew dropping it a month later, but in this case here, no, I don't think he should, based off of what we have.
Because the money has to be Cody and Randy.
It has
That's
to.
the money, right? Like
at this point,
and of course the money could be Randy in as champ.
I could see that too.
That's when I still need that different type of edge character from Cody. So really, this whole thing should be about what's next for Cody.
Yeah.
We got a championship match, and we almost forgot to talk about it, probably. On Raw Monday, it's going to be CM Punk and Finn Balor.
Yay.
For the championship, for the title.
It's like...
You giving Finn any shot to win this match?
Man, the internet, they be true sometimes. Sometimes they be treated like, what the hell did Finn do to get the championship match? So that's
I said
boom.
That, that was me. I said that. WWE, be better in that perspective. Like, hey, we here now, but yo, we couldn't have a match. We couldn't have like a triple threat match or a fatal 4-way on this show to determine who's next for Punk. And that's just what is frustrating at times if you take this thing too deep, right? Like when I saw it, I thought about it. I was like, whatever. I just decided like to put it out there on social media because why not? But like we went this long. Bron Breakker had this like 3-month story with Punk to get a match for the title. And then all we get is Liv getting in Finn's face like, yo, why don't you do something? We going up the titles. Raquel going up the titles. And he cuts off Punk in the promo, and we get a championship match next week. Now, thank you, CM Punk, because we were going to get 2 title matches out of 3 weeks from CM Punk. And we just talked about earlier how these title reigns have been, boring and nobody's actually putting their titles on the line. So it does solve for that. But I did just think it was kind of interesting. I'm like, wow.
I just think they're doing my dude dog. They doing my dog doo-doo-ish. Let me get that phrase out a little bit better. I think they're doing my dog wrong. There we go. They're doing Finn wrong. So you're telling me Finn had pulled his whole entire career to just ask for a championship match. Okay, I'm cool with that. And we know he's gonna lose. So you just discredited my boy Finn double time. So they just doing my boy so wrong for that. Sorry, Finn. You're gonna have a great showing on Raw against CM Punk, but you're not gonna win the championship.
He ain't got no shot.
No,
and it's fine. He ain't got no shot. The match would be cool. Somebody has said to me when I put that out there that was Sheamus' spot to have, but Sheamus is out injured. Sheamus, whatever. I don't know. But this works for the story, especially if, I'm not saying this is going to happen, but imagine just how this continues to take the story of the Judgment Day.
Sure.
Where now it's like, this is, Finn's going to be on the outs. Dom is still champion. If A&A wins against Rio on Saturday night's main event, and then if Raquel somehow beats Stephanie, everybody's going to have gold except for Finn.
Yep. And that's my consolation there. The story that they're going to have or could have in Judgment Day. But other than that, like I said, they just discredited Finn again.
Do you also like how they started calling Rhea and Io Rio after I said it on the podcast 2 weeks ago? Just let me know I'm seen and heard. Probably the best thing from Raw, Bron Breakker. And I know what ChatGPT said, so I'm trying to be more positive. I loved it. Best thing on the show. To me. Easily. Great spot. It fell just a little flat for me because you lost, Bron Breakker.
Clean.
If it was some type of interference, some type of shenanigans involved where Pierce set him up or he told Pierce this shouldn't be this, cool. But dude, you lost clean in the middle. Why the hell are you so upset with Adam Pierce? To that level. That just fell a little flat, but I loved it. I thought it was great. He's suspended indefinitely, so it'd be fun to see when he does come back. But I'm just like, for me, and that's not just me just holding on to he shouldn't have lost clean. But when I was watching it, I was like, man, this would have been so much more impactful if he didn't lose clean.
Yeah, it fell flat, but I am happy that happened because he's going to be off TV for some time. Well, they're acting like he's going to be off TV for some time now. He's been suspended indefinitely. But my biggest thing, the Raw after the loss, was Paul Heyman. I remember the top guy of your group had to be champion. I remember the smoke you was giving, or the shade you were giving to Seth, like if he didn't win, and how that was going to possibly change the whole dynamic of the group and Paul's involvement in the group. So when Bron lost clean in the middle of the ring, the first thought that I had was being held accountable the next time you show up to work. And that was my whole thing of like, well, is Paul going to still be by his side? But because they suspended him indefinitely, I think that's going to solve for that equation in my head of like, when is Paul going to address the fact that he lost?
Well, 2 totally different situations. One is this is his first title match. Remember when Paul was really on the loss having the consequences and such was Seth against Cody. Seth had never beat Cody before. So if we're trying to make this group be as big as it is, and you're saying you are the future of the industry and you cannot beat Cody Rhodes, are you really? That was why that story made sense. Paul was not going to get upset at Bron for this being, the first loss that he had against CM Punk. So I think so from that perspective, you were good there. For me, though, with saying he's suspended indefinitely, the other first thought to my mind was, do we get him at the Rumble? And if we don't get him at the Rumble, It was more of like, oh, so maybe he really is getting the title shot at WrestleMania. Because, depending on how long they want to keep him off TV. Hopefully it's not too long because, yeah, I'm high on Bronson Reed. But, man, without Seth and Bronson, I don't think the vision can carry with just Logan Paul, Austin Theory, and Bronson Reed on Raw.
I agree with that. And I would say that at a moment I felt Bronson's trajectory was much higher than Braun in that moment. Not when you look at their history of their career in the future, just in that moment, I thought Bronson was escalating quicker. But that was also because he had a supporting cast with them. And you're right, not having Seth or Bron Breakker, I don't know if Bronson can continue that. And mainly because they kind of calmed him down too and cooled him off. But I just don't think that he can be that guy to keep the vision on people's minds and talk of the town for the vision if they keep Braun off for too long.
I mean, word also too, kind of a pivot, but not really. And then going back to the Cody Hill thing and top guys on Raw, Oba Femi is allegedly heading to Raw. If you let some of the backstage news from creative, they've been working on Raw creative plans for him and not SmackDown. Take that out the equation, because who knows, right? They can change their mind. Hell, we just saw how the creative team changed their mind allegedly about the WrestleMania top matches just a few days ago. Where do you want to see Oba Femi? Where do you think he's best at?
See, I actually thought Oba could have better potential if the writing is better on SmackDown. I look at SmackDown as the flagship show in the regards of like spectacle. Raw, even, and it sounds weird because Raw's on Netflix, but just this is just the old school side of me. Just SmackDown was just the regular TV show. So it's the fun show. It's the commercial show. It's like more John Cena-ish show to me. Whereas like Raw would be like more Randy Orton to me. Like if you could draw those kind of parallels. I just felt like Oba Femi, Javon Evans, I thought those guys would be better on SmackDown because it's more of that bubbly show than Raw. Even though Oba has the edge to be Raw, I just always thought that if the writing was better on SmackDown, that he would have a better career over there on SmackDown. But I mean, I'll just leave it at that. I think that he would be better off on SmackDown, to answer your question.
For sure, for me. Like, I didn't even know this was a question. I'm going to assume Roman's going to be on SmackDown, but we know Roman's still part-time. Because everything we just talked about was involving SmackDown workers for Roman. So when I heard, like, Raw, I'm like, Raw's got top guys. SmackDown is very voided of top talent, even if you throw in Jacob. So you go Jacob. Okay, I'm talking legit top guys. You got Drew, Cody, Sammy. I mean, I guess I'll put Sammy as a top guy, right? See, for me, I don't put, yes, I guess.
I would, because he held the championship before. So I would put him over Sammy because he held the championship. That's all.
See, I know, but I'm looking at top guys that you put at the top of the bill, and like people are going to tune in to see that guy. I don't even know if Sammy's him.
Yeah, so it's really only Drew and Cody.
So that's my thing. Yep. And if we are going to be able to do this Cody heel turn, you have your new face of the company, babyface, in Oba Femi. Because I've always been about, okay, if you can't turn Cody until you have a babyface to take his place, Oba Femi is right there. So I'm like, oh, that's perfect. If we are going to go down that road, you put Oba on SmackDown. Now that frees up Cody to do whatever you want him to do creatively. Mm-hmm. So to hear that he's going on SmackDown, so that tells me, once again, when Roman does come back, he's going to be on SmackDown. But I don't think he's needed. I don't think he's needed on Raw. I mean, think about how top heavy Raw is. Bron Breakker, CM Punk. Who else do they have at the top? I mean, I feel like Raw is more top heavy than maybe they are middle heavy.
Yeah.
You know, like if you kind of think about it, I mean, let me look real quick and see, because I could be wrong. I don't think I'm wrong though, but I could be wrong. All right.
It could also be the booking of why you thinking that way.
Dominic Mysterio, do you put him close to the top of the card? I mean, he's an Intercontinental Championship. He's an Intercontinental Champion. You got the Usos, definitely. That's top of the card, however you want to look at it.
Yeah.
Not even including the women. So I'm trying to not take the women out because you got Becky Lynch, of course, you got Rhea Ripley, you got Io Sky. If we're having those conversations, AJ Styles on Raw. Yeah, I mean the Raw is like
Gunther.
Yeah, we know Bianca will be on SmackDown when she comes back. She should be back pretty soon now. I guess Brock's a free agent. I think he kind of goes wherever, maybe. With like Bronson Reed. I mean, I'm just looking at like, when Seth comes back, he's a Raw talent.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I think I've seen enough of it. Yeah, so my thoughts were correct. I think he's much more needed on SmackDown than he is on Raw.
Yeah. Especially now that you break it down like that. I mean, I just thought that Oba would be better on SmackDown.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. LA Knight is probably, he's got to be coming back to Raw. He's he could put him in that level. Now we're talking more, we're not talking main eventers, but we're talking people that you can put at the top of the card and sell shows and such. Yeah. I'm really surprised that Penta, you know what I mean? Like this. All right. All right. I think it's time for your new segment that you're debuting, that you are going to bring to the people every single week. Do you want to remind the listening and viewing audience what your New Year's resolution was last week in regards to professional wrestling?
See, you have such a knack for like teeing things up. And when you tee things up, you like to usually do it to like fit your narrative of what you want to come out. My actual New Year's resolution was that for PLEs and pay-per-views of professional wrestling, I was going to be more present and watching it. Meaning I would not be playing, not Kingdom Come, but it was Royal Flush, or I don't even know, Royal Family, Royal Match is what it's called, and Candy Crush. That's what I play on my phone. Okay, not Kingdom Come. That will be done. We're not doing that. There's only pay-per-views and PLEs. Then I said, it wasn't part of the New Year's resolution. It was then I said that, yeah, and then I said, and then I said, actually, no, 100%. I even put the caption there that said what my New Year's resolution was. Then I said, you know what? Actually, I'm going to try to make an effort to be more present in just wrestling shows in general. And that's when I also brought up, I got to talk about Dynamite. I got to be more present watching Dynamite. We're doing some good stuff over there.
So beautiful.
That's what it is.
So your New Year's resolution was just to be more present while you watch. You actually are going to watch wrestling for the first time in probably 5 or 6 years or so.
Shade.
So our new segment every single week is what did Rhodesia learn about wrestling this week? That is the segment. Rhodesia, please tell everybody, what did you learn about wrestling this week?
I don't remember. So that now I'm going to add in the Rhodesia's remembers. I don't remember. There's a lot of things that I'm like, oh, wow, I didn't know that was happened. Is that their intro music? If you gave me $1 million, I wouldn't have known that was actually their song.
So Rhodesia is going to have multiple what Rhodesia remembers. Okay. And here's the thing. The funny thing about it, or learn about wrestling, is Rhodesia doesn't really watch wrestling. So this is great because every single one of these segments are going to be common sense things that anybody who watches wrestling have known for a very long time. So Rhodesia actually has 2. We're going to hold one for maybe next week. But she was actually present and she watched wrestling this week. The big one was from Dynamite with Marina Shafir, one of Rhodesia's favorite female wrestlers in the world. Rhodesia, what did you learn about wrestling this week?
I'm scared to say it. Marina can't wrestle. She's not good. Oh my God.
You mean like what I've been saying
Sorry.
For about a year now?
She has okay, so for the listeners and viewers, Matt always talk about, maybe not today, but years in the past, Matt always say, you all show no go, talking about like my body type and like what I could look like physically, but no go. And like Marina is that. Marina is all show. Like she's a fucking badass. Like, and I actually watched a whole match of hers from beginning to end. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, she's not good. Now it could also just be maybe where she's at, and is she getting the kind of training that she needs to be better. But when I watched it, it went from, oh my gosh, she's not good, to like me saying she just need to drop the gimmick. Like if she's gonna be an MMA fighter, like you have to stop that, because you've been now an MMA fighter for forever. Let's learn some wrestling moves. Like go to the dungeon and go see Miss Natty, and then kind of work on that, and then come back. But I feel so bad because I'm throwing so much shade at her, but she just can't wrestle. Like it's not there. But I want her to do so well, because I love her look and I just love her energy. And I love somebody who's an athlete who can go from one sport to another, that can appreciate that other sport too. But I just want her to do so well. But when I watched that match, I was like, wow.
And it's fine. It's fine, right? She has the look. She's in a space of where she's at. She needs work. That's all. And like this is not just like, yeah, but it's not. But it's hilarious because I've been telling Rhodesia for a very long time. I'm like, Marina's not good in the ring, and Rhodesia's like, oh my god, but look at her. She's such a beast. Look at her back and everything outside of anything wrestling related. So she was actually able to sit.
I mean, she's a fucking
and
monster.
Watch a match. She was like, oof. And that's actually how this entire, so shout out to Marina Shafir. If it wasn't for you, Rhodesia wouldn't have a segment every single week, but you have spurred this segment every single week about what Rhodesia has learned about wrestling this week.
Be very clear though. I want you to do very well in your career. I think you have everything but the wrestling. And we talk about what makes a star in wrestling. And of the 4 things we've mentioned before, wrestling ability was number 4. So you still have the ability to do very well in your career.
Mm-hmm.
Did I make it worse? I probably just made this whole thing worse.
You did. Actually, I was going to make it really, really bad.
Oh, you had some opportunity.
It's all fun and games on this show. We know that, right? It's all fun and games on this show. But she just had a interview, and one of the quotes from her interview, and I saw the quote, and I was going to clip that up and then take out the word people. The clip I was going to clip up was, she feels fucking people up is her purpose in AEW.
Man,
and
I
was just
going to
clip it and say she feels that fucking up is her purpose in AEW. And then I was like, that would make a lot of sense. But I was like, that could be kind of mean. People could take that out of context. I wasn't going to do that.
Yeah, we're going to kind of just have dead air on this part of the show. I can't do that.
Great first segment.
I'm a feminist. I'm a feminist. I can't do that.
What did Rhodesia learn about wrestling this week? So I can't wait for next week. So guys, I'm looking forward to this segment every single week, because I promise you, it is always going to be something that you knew a long time ago. I already have the second one. If she acts like she don't have one for this upcoming week, I got one already. But we'll let that go. We'll let that go. I know you did have a, seeing the wrong topic of the women, you had a question about Stephanie Vaquer, but you didn't tell me what the question was or things of that nature.
Well, actually, you put this at the perfect spot, because when I touched on it for a hot second, he was like, no, this has been happening in wrestling forever. But so, again, what Rhodesia learned. But it's kind of like a 2, 4, 3, 4 of a question.
Okay.
Evidently, they don't want to take the title off of Stephanie. They've had, now, she has an injury. Don't know the extent of it. You probably know it. I don't know it. I haven't gone far enough to look into it. And she gets jumped immediately twice back to back at the 2 most opportunity times to jump her, and they're not taking the title off her, assuming that it is just like and taking Stephanie out of it for the first part of this question, assuming it's something that's just like a month injury or just over a month injury. Are you from the school of, if you can't work, you need to drop it? Or is it more of, if we have the ability to give you time, we're going to give you time? So that's the first part of the question. And you answer that one first, and then I'll follow up.
Yes, I'm 100% number 2, especially when we just talked about what they're thoughts and how they work these title defenses now, right? Like, we're barely getting any of them.
Sure.
So if we already know our end game is, say if the end game for this entire storyline was for Raquel to get the women's championship, we definitely run with this because of what that's going to do with the storyline of the Judgment Day, what that potentially would do with if Liv Morgan shows jealousy surrounding her being the champion. Maybe she is the only champion that wins and Liv and Raquel lose. So then that part of it. So yeah, you absolutely don't pivot away from that storyline. Now, if it's a situation where she needs surgery, yeah, you got to do what you got to do. But something like her ankle where she can still travel, she can still work these angles where, you know, she's getting beat down and she's getting beat up, she's getting sympathy. Absolutely, keep doing it.
Okay. And then, so then you kind of answered in the second part of my question. I was going to say, let's say if this was stretched out for 2 months. Let's say this is an injury that she probably would be ready to go at Mania. Then she can still show up, show her face, still talk on the mic that she does every time that she shows up to prove a point to me. But do you think Stephanie is a big enough talent to be worthy of not forfeiting a title?
Yes. Yep. Because it's not needed to forfeit. Because remember, they went away from the whole 30, you got to defend your title within 30 days or
30 days,
you got to strip. So like,
that was a couple years ago, wasn't it?
Yeah. That was when champions actually wrestled. So if they did strip her, you would be like, okay, well, why? Especially when you look at somebody like Jade who hasn't defended her title in X amount of, you know, weeks and weeks and weeks. It's like it has to be, you know, it has got to be fair across the board. But I mean, I think she'll be back. And she shared that photo of her ankle on Instagram. Ooh, I know them. I know a sprain ankle. I've had plenty of those where it is black and blue. Boy, oh boy. When I saw it, I was like, but even when she came out the first week in the boot, I even said to you, I was like, I don't think that's a worked injury. It was just the way she was moving. And then even when Raquel went after her leg, I was like, I still don't think this is a work injury. And then we saw the picture online. I was like, yeah, it's not a worked injury. And then she got jumped again this past week, which I thought was hilarious.
Yeah,
like in
kayfabe, why'd you turn your back?
In kayfabe, Raquel is doing what she does, and then you come out. But why are you even coming out if you can't protect yourself? And then you start talking to Raquel in the camera. Raquel's literally behind you. I mean, you just talk to her right in front of her face. You deserve to get jumped.
Right. Like Gordon said, was it a trick? It had to be a trick because this is the most recent time. He's like, I let you slide one time, you turn your back to me. Let you slide one time, you ain't gonna get that again. And that's kind of just been the thing from what you've shared with me before about in wrestling. You just don't turn your back to your opponent in wrestling. You don't.
Yeah, that was a little bit of a shoot too. Yeah, that was on the spot training. Because when he did it, I was kind of like,
some of the best learning.
Yeah. Yep. I was like, ooh, he shouldn't have done that. And he called him out immediately on it, which was good.
One thing I will say, though, I am excited about the turning of the waves or the momentum of the waves. This opportunity still wasn't blowing me out the water, but Giulia, she took the contacts out and she's now back to wrestling with a little more aggression.
Yeah.
You think, I mean, and I don't think the match was incredible, like I will remember it forever, but I would say that I was like, okay, this is a good reboot for her. You think this is it? Do you think this is now going to be where we start having a memorable championship reign for her?
I hope. You know, I mean, the crowd didn't help. Crowd was dead. And I even, posted on social media, like, this is everybody's fault. Because somebody had posted up when they showed her in the crowd at Stand Deliver and the crowd lost their minds. And I think that was, 2 years ago? I think it was either 2 or 3 years ago. And I just said, everybody's going to be held accountable. Everybody involved. That's her. That's NXT. That's main roster WWE. I mean, I have been on record for saying there was just something missing with her presentation on NXT. And then when she came to the main roster, I felt like they didn't do anything to help her with it. And they kind of just threw her in. She doesn't have that type of style or personality just to throw her in and then she's going to be good to go. But I like where she's at now. And it's going to take time, right? Like, you can't cry over spilled milk, but now it's a reset, really. So I do like that she's more aggressive. I do like she was cutting her promo in her native tongue because like she comes across a little bit more like badass and dangerous.
Stronger,
to your point about
yeah.
the colored contacts. The only time colored contacts ever worked was probably for like Ilya Dragunov. But remember when they put Roman in the color contacts? I still have nightmares over that. Anybody who puts color contacts in for wrestling, it just does not work. Guaranteed, does not work.
Unless it's part of your gimmick.
Like
if Rey Mysterio and Asuka, like that kind of like I have face paint or I'm under the hood. I'm okay with that because the aesthetic of how your face looks, that's okay. But other than that, show them dark brown eyes, baby.
Yeah, or whatever color they are, right?
Or whatever color it is, yeah.
We'll see, man, because she's got so much potential. She does.
Yeah, I agree.
What else you got?
We tapped everything on my show run here. Oh, one last thing from SmackDown too. So we talk about Jade Cargill. We saw that they had a little run-in with her and Jordynne Grace. It was a couple of times that we've seen this now, the second or third time we've seen on SmackDown TV. Is that going to be Jordynne's first feud, going to be Jade? And then if so, is it going to be for a title? If so, is Jordynne going to take it? If not, how is that going to make Jordynne story, character?
Well, if that's her first, no. Jade and Bianca's got to go at it for that title. Somehow, some way. So, however we get there, if that is having a match with Jordynne, if whatever, I don't know. But to me, the money is Jade and Bianca.
Sure.
Spend the money. It's always going to be the money. And yeah, now when they do it, it won't be main event. Like I said if they do it right, that match could main event like night 2 of a WrestleMania. But with Bianca hopefully being cleared now, to come back in the next couple of weeks leading up to the Rumble or at the Rumble, Jade's still the champion. She's still got the title. That's the match. That's the money match. So I don't think you put the belt on Jordynne and cloud that at all. Last
question for me. And I usually get my pro wrestling news here from the TFW podcast from my other hole.
My other hole.
You know what?
You go so many different ways with that.
They came out so.
My other hole. Shout out to your other hole too. That's a pretty good hole.
Damn.
It's a great hole, actually. It's the best hole. Good God. Should we just stop? Or
is there any chances? Let me ask this question. Is there any chance people with contracts? Is there any chance Sasha Banks showed up number 30 at the Rumble?
No,
or she signed WWE for a while? Okay,
no.
Just wondering.
Any long-term listener understands that from Rhodesia. Rhodesia's been saying for like 2 years now that Sasha Banks was me in number 30, even though she signed a 15-year deal at AEW. She was still showing up every single Royal Rumble for the last 3 Royal Rumbles, according to Rhodesia, when we would have our Royal Rumble preview show. So, no, she is going away. I haven't done research on why she's going away, but she cut that really good-looking promo just saying that when she returns, she's coming back for more than just titles. So,
because she's going to be number 30.
All right, man. Yeah, all right. You done?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We out. Is there anything else I want to talk about? I guess I do want to say, Chicago Bears, I hope you lose this weekend. It's not that I hate Chicago Bears. I don't hate you guys. But it was you and Green Bay. And it's typically always Green Bay middle fingers up over anybody else. But like I was going back and forth because you let like some of these Chicago Bear fans just think like Chicago is the best thing in the world. I do give Chicago props because they're better than what I have been giving them credit for. Anytime a team continues to come back at the end of the game, I always say like there's a little bit of like there's luck in really probably all sports for the most part. But I'm like, is more lucky? I don't think so. Now, granted, I think Green Bay sucks. They do, right? Even though they made the playoffs and we didn't as the Lions. But I need Chicago to lose this week so we can have everything back to the way it's supposed to be. Everybody from NFC North sitting at home.
Little brother. Yeah.
We have the 4th easiest schedule next year or 5th in the league. We still hopefully get our OC locked up, Mike McDaniel. I'm hoping for that. I'm crossing my fingers on that. But it was some great NFL games this past weekend. Should be some really good ones this weekend too. So excited for that. And then we got UFC back next weekend too. So we starting to rev up a little bit. UFC is back. I think it's the same weekend as Saturday's main event, if I'm not mistaken. So they're back to back. And then we got Saturday's main event, and then we got the Royal Rumble in a few weeks too. So sports and wrestling, we got some good stuff. And I've been saying it because we record on Wednesdays. We don't really get a chance to kind of talk Dynamite. And Dynamite was cool last week. This week is going to be really, really good. Maximum Carnage. They got some good matches involved. It's funny. I was watching Dynamite and I'm like, because I stopped watching with such a critical eye. Yeah, the way I used to, and it's still worlds better than what it used to be. They still do some stuff though, and I'm just like, man, guys, you didn't need to do that. Like they had a lights out match as the main event, and Dynamite. There was a spot with Hangman and Will Hobbs on cinder blocks, and it's just like, dog, Hangman, you killing your knees, dude. Like he did his Deadeye move, and so it was great because Hobbs didn't move again. Right, like, all right, great. That's what it's supposed to be. A move like that, he should be out. But it's like he came down to his knees. I'm hoping he had on knee pads. But even that, I'm just like, man, you didn't need to do that. Like, protect your knees, brother.
But it's progress, right? Like you said, that was done. Before, that would happen 2 minutes into the match. So, progress.
Yep, so should be a good show tonight. We'll watch it tomorrow morning. We out, y'all. We y'all know where we are, social medias. Once again, I ain't shouting it out again. Y'all found us. But I do need y'all to tell a friend, tell a family member. TFW Podcast, best kept secret in a wrestling podcast. That was freaking wrestling. That was the podcast. We'll be back next week to talk more wrestling. Until then, be safe out here, y'all. Love you guys. See you next week.